to My Cozy Book Nook. This is not the first video that I've made for my YouTube channel, but it is my first official My Cozy Book Nook video. And I thought, what better way for you to get to know me and for me to get to know this community than by using the BookTube Newbie Tag Questions. So although I have not officially been tagged by anyone to answer these questions, I'm going to steal the idea and go ahead and do it anyway. So let me go ahead and get started. I'm going to combine a few of these questions together because in my mind they kind of worked well together. So I'm going to combine questions 1 and question 3, which is first of all, why am I starting this BookTube channel? And then what am I excited about? So I'm starting this channel not only for BookTube, but also for AuthorTube. And My Cozy Book Nook is where I do most of my reading and most of my writing and journaling and that kind of thing. I had a book review blog from about 2009 to about 2013. And I loved being a part of the book review community on the blog, but I have found that it is time-consuming and tedious to write book reviews, and yet I've really missed that interaction with fellow readers. So I thought perhaps the YouTube community would be more of a way for me to connect with people who like to read, and we can just kind of interact in that regard. So I'm still going to keep My Cozy Book Nook as a blog. I'm hoping maybe to marry the two in some way. I haven't quite figured that out yet. But anyway, I'm starting it because I miss the community and I want to develop community. Not only as a reader, which is why I'm doing the BookTube Newbie Tag Questions, but also as a writer and as a journaler. And what I'm excited about the community. So let's see, question number 2 is what fun or unique things can I bring to the BookTube community? I don't really consider myself a fun person, but perhaps what would make me somewhat unique in the BookTube community is that I am a semi-retired English teacher. Currently I teach English Comp, but I have in the past taught everything from 7th grade all the way through 12th grade Brit Lit. And so I do plan to share a few of my lesson plans with regards to the classic literature that we read in school. And I would love to engage with others who enjoy reading the classics, and perhaps we can expand our knowledge and our interest in that area. The other perhaps aspect that I bring to the BookTube community is that I am a writer, and it's difficult for me to separate reading as a reader from reading as a writer. And so I'm always reading books not only to escape and to enjoy the story, but also what can I learn from those books to help my own writing. And perhaps that's a unique bent that I can bring to the community. Insights that I share in the books that I've read as to how it's making me a better writer. Question number 4, why do I love reading? Wow. I don't know. I've always loved reading. I think I love reading because it allows me to escape into other places that I would not normally visit. I love the story and getting caught up in it. I don't consider myself a creative person, so I enjoy the creativity of others and how they can take a nugget of idea and just really expand upon it to create this wonderful novel that's rich and complex with characters and plot and theme and all of that. So I guess I love reading from the escapist standpoint, but I also love reading from the academic standpoint. They say that great literature is to not only to entertain, but also to inform, and I like both of those aspects. I love to learn, and reading for me is a way to continue that lifelong learning that I am compelled to do in life. Let's see, what book series got me into reading, and I'm going to combine this. So that's question 5, and I'm going to combine that with question 8, which was when did I start reading? I started reading in kindergarten. I remember learning the phonics and reading the See Jill Run and those kinds of books, and I could hardly wait till I could read on my own. I liked being read to, but I wanted to read myself, and so from the time I could read the easiest sentence. I was very much, no, let me read it. I didn't want my parents to read to me anymore. The series that really kind of got me reading was the Bobbsey Twins series. And then from the Bobbsey Twins, I went right into Nancy Drew. So I guess I'm really partial to mysteries. Although, interestingly, I don't read that many mysteries these days. I still love them. In fact, I have in the back of my mind an idea to write a cozy mystery. But it's not really what I tend to read anymore. But I did love them in high school. I think I read every Bobbsey Twin, and I read at least half of the Nancy Drew books. In fact, I remember saving my allowance money, and every 3 weeks I would have saved enough money to go to the local department store, and for $1.24, that's how much the Nancy Drew hardback books were. I could buy the next one in the series. So that's how I got started. Question number 6, what question would I ask my favorite booktuber? I guess maybe I could pair that with question number 7, and that's what do I anticipate being my greatest challenge in the BookTube community? I think my greatest challenge is going to be to feel like I'm connecting. That's the whole reason why I am creating these videos to begin with. I don't really care too much about numbers. I don't plan to look closely at how many subscribers I have or how many have viewed my videos or left comments or any of that. I'm really just looking for the connection factor. And so I guess my biggest question would be, how do you maintain that connectivity? And when you don't feel like you're connecting because people aren't commenting or you're not building subscribers, how do you keep going, knowing that there are others out there who want to connect with you? So I guess that's going to be my biggest struggle. And then let's see, lastly, I was going to combine where do I like to read and what do I like to read together. Well, I like to read in a lot of places, but obviously my Cozy Book Nook would be the number one place. I am surrounded by bookshelves. Maybe someday I'll give you a tour of this small dormer room. Used to be my son's room, and then when he moved out, it became my place. So I have a little couch, a little love seat kind of couch off to the side where I read. I also have a desk that's sitting in front of me, and that's where I do most of my writing. But I love being surrounded by books in this room, and it's very cozy and comfortable, and I light a candle and I'm ready to go. Other places that I like to read, I also have, I am an empty nester, so I have 3 children, but they all 3 have moved out of the house, and so that has allowed me to have 2 spaces to call my own. So Virginia Woolf talked about having, a room to call your own, and I'm very fortunate to have 2 rooms to call my own. So one is this book nook, and the other is I have a Paris room. I am a Francophile, and I absolutely adore Paris, and so I do a lot of reading in that room as well. And I put my Paris cafe playlist on, and I just pretend like I'm sitting in a cafe, on the outskirts of Paris in Montmartre, and I'm just reading away. I can spend hours in there. And then probably the third favorite place that I read is in bed right before I go to sleep. I try to read at least half an hour, and I try to make sure that I read fiction in that last half hour. I do adore nonfiction, and I could spend all my time reading nonfiction, but I would like to expand my horizons in fiction. So I guess maybe that's the question that I'll end with what do you like to read? I do not like to read romance. I am not the romantic in the family. My husband is the romantic in the family. I am very practical. I don't like to read science fiction per se, although I would like to try science fiction to see if I would like it now that I'm a little bit older. I haven't been one to read much historical fiction, but I find myself drawn to writing historical fiction. So I'm trying to increase my reading in that area. So if you have any suggestions, I would love to hear them. But I guess my go-to escape reading would be thrillers. I like being not scared, but I like my heart rate beating faster and faster and me trying to figure out who did it, kind of thing. So not quite the mysteries, but definitely the thrillers. And then also classics. And as I look back in my high school and college career, I really missed out on reading a lot of what I consider to be the true classics that we all should be aware of. And so in this latter half of life, I would like to reconnect with some of those classics that I missed. So again, if you have any classics that you enjoy that you can recommend for me to read, I would love to have that in the comments below as well. So anyway, that is my Cozy Book Nook, and I hope to connect with you much more often in the future. Thanks so much for listening.